how's it going? I know y'all wasn't expecting this type of intro, but I just feel like I wanted to get on camera to, talk about the point guard problem we have in today's game because we have so many like jumbo guards and jumbo forwards becoming on primarily on ball creators, and it's kind of like hurting these guys a lot. It's like it's really crazy to see what unfolded in the playoffs. Like a bunch of these guys that they're the best players. They're going to have the ball in their hands, but them trying to continuously initiate possession after possession after possession. Not only does that get taxing after a while, it's not suitable for your long term success. We seen the teams, the Thunder, the Pistons, like those teams, the Celtics even. Like these teams struggle to consistently generate easy looks because on most of these teams, they're the only guard carrier that can do anything, and that's what leads to them trying to play hero ball, where it's them trying to score a lot, or them trying to like pass in windows that's not even there. So we definitely going to talk about some teams and players in this video, and yeah, you will not be disappointed in this because I feel like not only statistics back this up, but really the eye test back this up as well, like I mentioned. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So let's talk about Shai and the Thunder first. So Shai Alexander, like he definitely has been on a crazy regular season run, right? Back to back MVP, stellar offensive showing, but we have came to the point where Shai Alexander has become more and more of like the quote unquote point guard of this team. But in reality, this is really a shooting guard that has to play more of like a point guard role or more of an on ball career role. And I don't think this suits him a ton, right? Because Shai Alexander, I feel like he's best when he's just mostly focused on creating for himself, right? When they had Josh Giddey, for example, it just still felt the times where Shai Alexander had the ball most of the time, and it just had Josh Giddey just stand off in the corner or something, which was not Josh Giddey's strength, and that's why he only played like 15 or so minutes in the 2024 playoffs. So yeah, I just feel like what we just saw in the back-to-back playoff runs in 2025 and 26, we have seen Shai Alexander get keyed in on like this on ball role he got where he trying to create at the top of the key and trying to exploit mismatches or try to run like pick and rolls and stuff. It's not happening. Isolations is definitely not happening because the defenses are loading up on that. They not trying to W. They are trying to load up. So like if you try to like get past the man, it's not gonna matter because now you're gonna run into somebody else, and then now they finna double team you now because now you're in a compromised position where you just made it easy for the defense to trap you. Now you can't even generate a shot for even your team now since the time was running low, right? And we seen that in the Spurs series. This Spurs series, Shai Gilgeous, and really in the entire play run except for the first round, when defenses did a hard show on Shai, the effectiveness was definitely way lower than if they tried to fly out double him or they try to run some other or just let him go isolation, right? So yeah, this needs to change if the Thunder want to prolong their run because Shai Alexander cannot be the only person to like initiate offense and stuff like that. Like yes, J-Dub was injured. We have to think about that. J-Dub was injured. But even if J-Dub played, this team was still going to have trouble beating the Spurs defense because, like I said, they don't have a point guard this year that's going to help, take advantage of different stuff. But I just feel like this Thunder playbook it could be a lot more expanded if they can use Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in more of an off-ball role. And I just honestly feel that way. But since he's most of the time the only person that could really take somebody off the dribble and create stuff for the entire offense, I just feel like the offense is hampered a ton because of like the situation the Thunder put themselves in. Because now they have a team full of two guards and threes and stuff like that. And then when it came down to it, when they needed these twos and threes to step up, they really couldn't step up because now they have to play with their roles they have not been used to before. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with this situation, have to play more minutes because nobody else could take the ball and actually score consistently. His second option, Chet Holmgren, 7 foot, did not even seem willing to attack the rim, right? And then you have his guards like Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, all these people I named are mostly twos and threes. Their handle or them trying to initiate offense is not gonna go well. We seen how the Thunder was playing Jared McCain. They knew his handle was not like that, and guess what? They just started pressuring more and more, and that caused more turnovers, right? Casey Wallace, he's not the person you're not gonna rely on to initiate offense. Lou Dort, absolutely not. Isaiah Joe, he's a spot. They just hampered their ability to use Shai off ball with all these defenders and specialists and stuff like that. If they could get a actual point guard, it's no telling what they could unlock with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because that's how you gonna take the pressure off him, and that's how you consistently have good playoff performances once the load is getting taken off him. Now, the Atlanta Magic is an interesting case because this team was supposed to be a top 3 seed in the East this year with all the injuries that was going on with the Celtics and the Pacers, for example. And also the Bucks, they wasn't going to be nothing. So, this is supposed to be the year of the Magic. And somehow, some way, they did not exceed expectations in the slightest, right? This team underperformed greatly. That's why they ended up firing Jamal Mosley, right? And they hired the Spurs defensive coordinator I forgot his last name, but he's been a coach around the league. He was also the coach for the defensive coordinator for the Mavericks as well. So, yeah, they got a great coach, but is this coach gonna play a part in them getting an actual point guard though? Because the same problem the Thunder face, the Magic face as well, and that's why it be at times where they offense look disgusting. Yes, coaching do play a part in this, and yes, they definitely was not set up in their best abilities to use their skills. But in reality, this team does not have a point guard, and they rely on Paolo Banchero most of the time to initiate offense, or Franz Wagner. That's you're not that's yes, in theory, yes, they can do it. They got good ball handling skills. But in reality, these guys are 6'10". Their handle is not gonna be like that. Imagine Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he actually got good handle for his size. These two though, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, yes, they got good, but bro, they handle is not taking them nowhere. If I'm being honest with you, and then if you try to rely on these guys to initiate offense, you wasting your time. I feel like Paolo Banchero, yes, I feel like he's a good playmaker for his position, but if you try to use him mostly as your only creator, him and Franz to be your only creators to this year offense, that's where you're going to have trouble. A ton of trouble at that. Yes, Jaylen Suggs, I just feel like he's not a point guard. He's a 2-guard wing player. Because it be moments where this guy is trying to initiate offense. And I'm going to talk about the Pistons as well since I'm talking about the Magic. And it just feel like most of the time he was not on the same page trying to deliver the ball. Sometimes he just throw it up for grabs. I'll be like, what is this? Like, he just threw. I'm talking about, it was one time, I think he was trying to throw it to Wendell Carter. And bro seen that Wendell was not option anymore. And guess what? He just still threw it up for grabs. I'm like, this is not a point guard at all, because I know a point guard was not will seen that and will have told somebody to freaking like relieve him or try to get somebody pull up to the free throw line or something. Lobbing it up like that is very, very crazy. And I don't know why the Magic just continue to go into seasons like this. Now, it is rumored that Jaylen Suggs might be on the trading block, and yeah, they're trying to shake things up in Orlando because they feel like this team, like I said, even if they have this defensive coordinator, well, I just feel like you go from another defensive coordinator that had offensive problem to another defensive coordinator that you don't know how the offense is going to get run. This is going to get spooky, because if you don't bring no creative changes to the playbook and you don't have a point guard to actually initiate sets, good luck. Like, I don't see how this can get turned around in a positive direction if you don't get a point guard in this team. This team can be like optimized way better if they have a point guard, because now you take less responsibility of Paolo and Franz. And also, these two also been hurt the last 2 seasons as well. Maybe that's due to the load that's being placed on them on a nightly basis, or it could be something freak going on. But like, it gotta change, because I just feel like the Magic should not have been disappointed this season in the slightest. I thought come see Thunder. They have won a championship, but this year in the playoffs, though, they really got upset by the 76ers when this was the time they were supposed to beat the Sixers and try to make it to the finals again. Even though there was supposed to be a gap year, but I don't care about that. They was in the playoffs. They was a good seed. This should not have happened, right? That was a 3rd seed. There was a second. There was a second or third. I'm not sure. But yeah, this was not supposed to happen. But this has been a trend the last couple of years. Even before he won a championship. Like, they heavily rely on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to be their, on-ball creators and stuff like that. But guess what? Teams are loading up on that. Like, yes, you have a good lineup where you have 3 elite players everywhere. Like, you have Derek White, you have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or you have, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and, big man Cade and stuff like that. But the team is not being utilized like how they should be utilized. Like, yes, they're one of their best skills is on ball creation. Okay, I understand, but you're really not helping, like a guy, especially like a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's like his assist turnover ratio is awful. Like, for a player that has the ball in his hands the most, it's not good. Like, I just feel like they not utilizing him to score. They utilize him to, like, okay, you got the ball, now try to survey the defense and try to beat the loaded defense. No, like, I don't think that plays to his strengths at all. I just feel like he needs to be in a position where he's like utilize like his postability, or utilize him scoring off the catch in the mid range or something like that. Well, I just don't understand why you would ever try to continually rely on Jaylen Brown trying to beat his man 1-on-1 in isolation. Like, that's or Jason Tatum. Like, even though Jason Tatum has gotten incrementally better as a playmaker, I just feel like it's harder for him to like consistently try to beat teams with his playmaking. I really do think so. And I just feel like late games, we see the same story happen where teams can easily come back on them, and now you're in trouble because I just feel like that it's like the last couple years, like for example, them losing to the Knicks, they should have beat the Knicks, right? But the fact that it was just blowing these leads constantly left and right, because guess what? They have nobody to settle them down. Like, I'm not gonna say a random point. Like, for example, like what Carmelo Anthony did was he said, "Oh, the Spurs need like a Harrison Barnes to calm them down." Dude, what? No, like that's first off, that is wild to even say. That's first off. Second, that man Harrison Barnes is not no point guard. How in the world can he sell anything now? He's not gonna have the ball in his hands. What he gonna do? Have hands just like, oh, calm down, or he talk to him on the floor or something? Come on, man. That does not make no sense. But yeah, having a point guard is so important. Even Melo talked about it. Matter of fact, on one of his podcast episodes, and this is where I agree with him. So when they trade for Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson was mostly used as like a two that can have some type of point guard crazy, but he always had a point guard next to him, which it was like Aaron McKee or freaking Eric Snow. So somebody was in the backcourt with him at all times. But when he got to the Nuggets, though, they started to use him as primarily the point guard. And that kind of messed up Allen Iverson's flow a little bit. And that's why that duo didn't work. So that's when they traded Allen Iverson to Detroit. They got Chauncey Billups back. And guess what? They made it to conference finals. Just based off that one little tweet, and they made it. Because you know why? Because now you get to utilize Carmelo Anthony to the fullest. And then with Chauncey Billups, folks like said at the beginning of his career, he was not a natural one. That's fine. But I just feel like his passing ability and him knowing how to get folks in the right spots, I feel like that freaking helped like the Nuggets way more than like having Allen Iverson torn on whether he should push the gas and try to score or try to get folks a spot. Like that just it definitely messed up what they fought. And I just feel like the same thing happened with the Celtics late in these games where they keep relying on the three ball, but they just they just don't have the, you can say, the situational awareness, or they just don't really have. They just don't have that guy, like I said, to initiate the offense. Because you're not expecting Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown to do that. You expect them mostly to try to look to score pass second. You need somebody that can pass first, then score second, in my opinion. And neither one, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, should not be authorized to do that. I really don't think so. So yeah, those are my thoughts. We talk about the Magic. Let's talk about the team they faced in the playoffs, and that is the Detroit Pistons with Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, I've been feeling like this for 2 years now. He is not a point guard. He is definitely a shooting guard trying to be mostly like a point guard type player. And I just don't think he can do it. Now, the reason why I feel like this is because I feel like he's be sloppy with the ball as well. His turnovers, every point guard, every high usage point guard is gonna have turnover, but it's the quality of turnover that be head scratching. Like for example, this man Cade Cunningham, sometimes he be dribbling off his foot. There be at times where his passing awareness is also not good as well. So, he had some Jaylen Suggs type passes as well, where he's seen that was going to be a tough chance to throw the rock, right? And some passers can actually thread that in, but Cade Cunningham did not have the passing skills to be trying most of the passes he be trying. I really don't think so. I just feel like the Detroit Pistons, even before he became their point guard, quote unquote, they was trying to experiment with different guards being the point guard so he could be more of an all-ball career. For example, the point guard that just signed with the Sacramento Kings, but for some reason I am blanking on his name. He came from France as well. And then they also had Jay Hardy, also like another guard carry can take the pressure off Cade Cunningham. Both of these guys just did not pan out for him, and that's unfortunate. The Pistons actually tried. That's all I care. They actually tried to have somebody in place so Cade Cunningham not handle the ball most of the time, but both of them didn't work out, and now they're in a situation where they really don't have another guard career outside Cade Cunningham to actually get this thing rolling. Now, it was a 60-win team, but everybody knew their offense was their main problem. And they offense got them in trouble in the Cavs series because they could have easily beat the Cavs. But the fact of the matter is, once you have a guard trying to be something that he looks really uncomfortable at playing point guard majority of the time as well. Just to point that out, and this leads to you being no man's land. Now they could easily win another 55, 60 games next year, but like the same problem's going to rise if they don't address that position. They really need a point guard. Now, they could easily see, I understand this would be like a very head scratching move in a way, but if they can get a job or like a De'Aaron Fox or something like that, I feel like this team would be in much better shape than what they are in now, in my opinion, because I just don't, because I feel like Cade Cunningham as a shooter needs to be explored more. I feel like his 3-pointers need to skyrocket for this team to be successful. And I understand De'Aaron Fox and Ja, they not the best shooters in the world, but you get to optimize their gravity, or the gravity they still have because they fell off a ton, but you get to capitalize on what Cade Cunningham is as an off-ball career instead of an on-ball career mostly in majority of the games they play in. Now, Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, I feel like at the beginning of Devin Booker's career with the Suns, I feel like they was in the right direction of utilizing him as an off-ball guard. They got guards like Ricky Rubio and Chris Paul, right? And so once they got a better version of a Ricky Rubio, where they got a Chris Paul he's one of the best playmakers of all time, and then he uses playmaking gravity as a way to score. So yes, a way better version of Ricky Rubio, right? And then guess what? Once they got Chris Paul and start building out the team, that's where we seen the most success the Suns has had since Steve Nash was there. Right? Then for some reason, they decided to trade for Bradley Beal. And ever since this trade for Bradley Beal, they has been using Devin Booker as the point guard in this year. No. That's why Devin Booker, as a way, of course, different injuries and stuff has probably zapped his athleticism and stuff like that. So he's probably not as explosive scorer as he was. But you take the ability of what made Devin Booker special was his scoring, to put him in a role that, yes, he can do it, but that's not what he's comfortable doing, though. You feel what I'm saying? I just feel like if this team was better suited, if they did what they did at the beginning, which was get point guard and utilize his skill set to the best. It's not like you can't play Jaylen Green and Devin Booker in the front, not the front court, but the freaking backcourt, use them as the 2-3, right? And eat like that. Why does one have to be a point guard? One have to be a shooter. Then you have to have a wing defender. I just know. I just know. I just feel like, yes, it helps your defense a ton, which they was one of the better defensive teams in the league. But in the long run, though, it's not optimizing Devin Booker to his strengths at all, and then now you're gonna you face a tough decision where now you question like is he the same guy? Like obviously they still support him and stuff like that, but if he continues to go down this decline of his scoring like coming down while trying to become this 4-time PG, I just feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, misutilizing a guy that was one of the best scorers in the league. And like I said, as recent as 2023, when they even traded for Kevin Durant and Chris Paul still in the roster, this man Devin Booker looked like one of the best players in the playoffs. So I don't understand. They need to do right, go revert back, try to find a point. Like Tyus Jones is not gonna cut it. Like I just feel like he lived off assist to turn ratio for far too long. You need a point guard that can play make, but they also need to be able to score as well themselves. Like no more of this pure point guard. There's no such thing as a pure point guard. You need a point guard that actually know how to facilitate play make and actually score. Like simple as that. Now these two teams, I'm just gonna lump them in together because this video is already long. So I just want to talk about these two teams because they kind of in similar spots in a way, but of course this team is better because they just made a run at the finals, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. Now this is quite interesting because I just had a feeling like their guard position was gonna look kind of like suspect. Well, except for Dylan Harper, he showed out big time on the big stage in New York. It wasn't his fault. Now the person I really want to dial in on for the Spurs is Stephon Castle. Now Stephon Castle is build, or you can say like what's the word? He slide in as the quote unquote second best player on this team. And if I'm being real with you, no, he's not. Like it's quite simple. Like based off his game, he's not the second best player. I feel like the second best player is currently on the bench, and that is Dylan Harper. And they saying he's content with another bench role. I highly doubt that. He wants to start. He's literally the best guard on the team by far. Like of course. And it's not even like a big defensive gap between him and Stephon Castle because Dylan Harper, you saw how he was like snaking through screens and stuff like that. Like he was not getting screened at all, and he's a very tough physical one-on-one defender, especially against Shai Alexander. Like, yeah, I just feel like this guy is obviously the second best player on the team, but he has to settle for a bench role because they're not gonna start all three guards. That's not gonna happen, and De'Aaron Fox is getting paid 50, 60 million a year. So he's definitely not coming off the bench. So yeah, it's just something he has to freaking take. And then once he's up for a contract, now what? Now you can be in a tough situation where he's barely starting. Like, and I don't even know if he's gonna get the chance to start because De'Aaron Fox's contract is gonna be impossible to trade. Now, if he get healthy, rebuild his stock, he may freaking get, like a trade scenario where the Spurs can get stuff back in return. But, and they just have to ride out with De'Aaron Fox, which is not a bad option. It's just like, you have Dylan Harper on the bench. That's my problem, right? And, yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But, yeah, Stephon Castle, like, his ball handling, bro, I just don't understand. I don't understand why they put him in these spots where he has to play a point guard and he has to bring it up. The Thunder instantly took care of business. Like once they saw him bring it up, every time they pressure him in the backcourt, he either lose the ball or he's freaking stepping too close to the out of bounds line. Every single time. And then he's not a natural passer like a PG. Like I said, I feel like this guy is more of like a wing. Like I don't think he has the ball handling juice and capabilities to be like a point guard in spots. I don't think he has the capability in my opinion, which is fine. Everybody don't need to be a freaking point guard. But for this team to be successful though, I just feel like They need to stop with the Stephon Castle as the second best player. He's not. It's Dylan Harper is the second best player of this team. And then once they realize that, everything goes slide in just fine. But until then, I don't know. But yeah, the other team I want to talk about is the Houston Rockets. Now, this team absolutely has no guard play at all that's like, even suitable to make deep run right now, right? If they expect Fred VanVleet to become healthy and like lead the charge and stuff like that and be a point guard, they in for a rude awakening because like Fred VanVleet has been out for a year. He's already a small guard. His explosiveness is already not there. His knees was already ailing him before he tore the ACL. So it's like, I don't know how this is gonna go because like the most Fred VanVleet can do is like really just not spot or shoot. Well, he can spot or shoot and like pull up threes. That's the only thing he can do right now. He's not the passer that folks expect. Can he get them to set? Sure, but at the same time, it's like, bro, like he's not the game changer. If anything, this should have been the team right here that could have went after the LaMelo Ball, but since they in the freaking second apron, they can't make no moves basically. Like they got what KD under contract. They traded freaking Dorian Finney-Smith to the Hornets. They re-signed Tari Eason. That was a good move. Guy have Amen Thompson about to be on the books. It's like I don't know about the Houston Rockets, bro, because they definitely missed out on some guards, and these opportunities don't come around often. Yes, they drafted the rookie from Ohio State. I think his name like Bruce Thornton or something like that. But he looked like he's built as a 3-point shooter, so I don't think he's going to be the point guard of the future. So yeah, this is a complete miss on the Rockets end. Because I just don't think Fred VanVleet coming off an ACL injury is going to be the answer. And I don't think Amen Thompson should try to be a point guard no more. That's it. I just feel like I would end the experiment because he's not going to have the pull-up shooting necessary to take them over the hump. And I just don't think, like, that suits him. Like, I feel like he should be a cutter, and I feel like he should be more of a screener. And yeah, he should just attack off that. He should not be the running the offense. I feel like that's literally hampering him more than anything. So yeah, that would conclude this video. This is like a different style video, because I actually wanted to acknowledge the importance of having a point guard. And I'm not talking about a pure point guard like I emphasized multiple times, because having a pure point guard doesn't get you nowhere. I just feel like it makes matters worse because now you have a pure point guard. Now you in a situation where the on-ball career still having the ball in his hands, and now you have this pure point guard being out of place. No, I just feel like you need a point guard that can actually score the rock and use his scoring gravity to, take advantage of, mismatches, or like I said, be able to fit passes in, right? And I just feel like we definitely have a point guard problem because everybody's getting developed into wings. Nobody don't really have the passing awareness now, and now teams are heavily relying on their big guards or their big wings to try, initiate offense. I just feel like these teams that I talked about in this video can definitely benefit from actually having a point guard. Now, it's not easy. It's not easy to find that archetype what they need, right? It's not. But I just know they would definitely be better suited come playoff time if they have an actual point guard that can score. But yeah, that's enough of my rant. I feel like this video is definitely a long video because, man, I feel my voice already. I feel myself losing my voice. So yeah, if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and this is your boy Trill, and I'm out.